Well, I'm not allowed to say the S word until we do the S word. So the Diamondbacks did the S word. They get the sweep. Boom! Over the Mariners. We are talking about the Diamondbacks kind of having a sweep disorder right now, and more about if this team is back. Also, Erod might indeed be back. We're talking about this in 30 seconds. Don't you go anywhere. Another edition of the PHNX Dbacks podcast right here on PHNX. I am your mayor of PHNX, occasionally known as Derek Montilla. We got the dog in charge himself, the one and only Damon dog on the ones and twos today. And you know he's pumped because he seems to be the human rabbit foot for this team. A one-man luck charm over here, giving the Diamondbacks everything they need to once again sweep another team. The Diamondbacks sweep the Mariners, and we are going to talk all about it. Of course, this show is brought to you by our friends at Bet365 and Game Time. Go use our code of PHNX365 when you sign up over there. Download that app. You'll get yourself $150 in bonus bets, and use our code of PHNX over at Game Time. You will get $20 off your first ticket purchase. And of course, use that to buy tickets to wonderful games like this one that we saw today. The Arizona Diamondbacks win by a score of 5-2 over the Seattle Mariners. They sweep the series 3-0. And this is the first sweep of the Seattle Mariners at home in franchise history, and second all time. The first time they've ever swept the Mariners at Chase Field. The Diamondbacks have now won 2 of their last 3 series, and they won both of those series by sweeping the teams that they played. Of course, the loss there, also a sweep. The Diamondbacks get swept there by Cincinnati, but just an absolutely outstanding way to respond to a terrible week for the Diamondbacks. Not only did they receive all of this bad news in regards to Corbin Burnes, Justin Martinez, Christian Montes de Oca, Cristian Mena. I mean, the list goes on, but they also got swept by the Reds, and it felt like that might have been an all-time low moment for this team this season. However, they came home to Chase Field, and they have responded extremely well. We talked about the weather playing a role in that series, and I still blame storm clouds and the umpires for that sweep. But the Diamondbacks now improve, Damon, to 34-34, and I think you know what that means. I think you know it's time that we send Domo up Mount 500. Can we get Domo climbing that mountain? That'll never get old. Elise says it's been such a weird week of D-backs baseball. It absolutely has been a weird week of D-backs baseball. At least they're playing good baseball right now, and that's what we saw today, and that's what we saw in this series against the Mariners. A solid performance all the way around, from the starting pitching to the bullpen and, of course, the offense, which was fairly non-existent in this game up until that 6th inning. And let's be honest, they didn't do much after that. However, they put up a big crooked number there in the 6th inning, and it was enough for the Diamondbacks to get the win today. I think we have more from Torey Lovullo from the clubhouse and his thoughts on this win and this series victory.
Good series. You're looking to close out a quality team like the Mariners, and I think I was proud of these guys. Quick turnaround. We were getting pitched too early on. I think the 3rd time around, the guys started to make some adjustments, and you could see what happened. It was to build an inning. Gino comes up, and it's a huge grand slam. Pavin sits on a breaking ball, hits a home run, and it was 5 runs in the matter of 6 batters. It was really, really impressive. So that's what we're able to do offensively. And they just engaged at the right time. I think they fought and gave each other everything that they had. And it was a big win. It's tough to close out. It's tough to sweep series. Tough to close out a team like that. Well-pitched game, a lot of good athletes, a lot of good players, and we just continued fighting. So, you add all that up, and it's probably sitting right on Erod for being able to go out there and execute pitches, change speeds front to back, side to side, pitch into the 7th inning. Pitch count was maybe a bat or two low, but I know it was his 7th inning. He hasn't been that far, so I decided to maneuver in the bullpen. We had the right pieces, the right matchups, and it all worked out really, really well. Cattell, 24 consecutive games getting on base. Pavin with a home run, and then I've got to make mention of Eugenio and doing what he did. He's third all time with total home runs for a Venezuelan-born player. I've played against or with a couple of the ones that he just passed. I've coached against a couple that, one main one that's sitting right in front of him, and it's just an impressive feat. And he's just such a great teammate. He's so engaged, and it was clearly the big hit of the game that got us playing downhill baseball. Look, this team is playing hard. They're doing what they have to do every single day, but it's functioning the way it should. It's like gears. It's moving together, and we played really well defensively. You go back to yesterday, Bryce Jarvis being able to give us 3 innings, 1 run, gave us a chance to have some positive role relievers available today. So all those things add up every single day, and it's a chain. It's a chain reaction that's connected. And when I see what happened through the course of this series after a tough Cincinnati series, where emotionally we were spent, I'm really proud of where these guys are. So we have an off day tomorrow. We know that San Diego's coming in, and our only focus should be going out and playing another great game on Friday.
And that's all the Diamondbacks can do right now, right? There's a mountain to climb ahead of them, but the only thing that they can do right now is take it one step at a time, one game at a time, one series at a time. And again, this was a big series win for the Diamondbacks had they not completed the sweep today, just getting the job done against the Mariners, and again, coming out and performing well after a tough series in Cincinnati. But they do complete the sweep, and I think that's impressive. And I think, again, the Diamondbacks were able to do it with their offense, which, as we discussed last night, is a big way, is kind of their only path here to victory, to being a good team. However, holding this Mariners team to just 2 runs today, and honestly, in this series, they held the Mariners to just 9 runs overall across 3 games. You got to give some credit to the pitching staff, to the starters, to the bullpen, and to the Diamondbacks defense. It was all superb in the series, and they did everything that we've seen them do in the past that led to success, and Torey talked there a little bit about like how everything kind of stacks, right? And you get a solid, outing in game 2 from Bryce Jarvis out of the bullpen that allows you to save a lot of your best arms and use them in a game like this, that it was a little bit closer. And again, it's there's just everything is going the right way for this team. Nothing's perfect, but all of the parts are moving at the same time in the right direction. The offense today, though, was outstanding. And again, fairly non-existent prior to that 6th inning. They had 3 hits total, and the only extra base hit was an Alec Thomas double prior to that big inning there in the 6th. But Diamondbacks were finally able to put up a huge crooked number there in the 6th. Started with singles again from Corbin Carroll and Ketel Marte. No surprise at all that those guys get things going. Then Naylor walks to load the bases, and then Eugenio Suárez hits a grand slam to clear the bases and give the Diamondbacks a 4-2 lead. And again, Gino, what can you say about Gino? It was his 19th home run of the season, and Gino leads all of Oh, get that thing out of here. There's your damn beard tracker. We are up to 19 home runs on the Teal beard tracker, and according to Jesse Friedman and other reports, the Eugenio Suárez is on pace to hit 45 home runs. So things aren't good. However, Jacob did reveal my secret exit plan to everybody in the Discord, and he told them that apparently I could just shave my beard the next day after dyeing it, Damon. And I don't like that he's revealing.
That doesn't seem fair.
It's not fair. It's not fair.
It kind of is. I feel like you got to
shave my beard off all the time. I go beardless all the time.
You got to sport it for a little bit. But
Yeah.
you said, Derek, there's really not that much more you can say about Gino. Here's what you can say about Gino. 21 more, brother. 21 more. That's all you can say. We'll just leave it right there.
Well, per Francis Vermeer on Twitter, Gino leads MLB now with 3 grand slams. Was his 3rd grand slam of the season. And I mean, honestly, like, it's amazing the stuff that Gino is doing. He is the second Diamondback ever to hit 3 grand slams in a season. Paul Goldschmidt, of course, being the other one. He is the 6th player in the majors with 3+ grand slams in a single season since 2023, showing that that feat does not happen very often. And his 295 career home runs are now 3rd all-time among Venezuelan-born players. He passes Maglio Ordonez, and he is now currently behind Miguel Cabrera, who he will never catch, and Andres Galarraga, who he will most likely also never catch. So Gino absolutely deserves all the praise today. And he has been, obviously, he has been streaky at times, but just an impressive player this season, and he continues to be. And, of course, we have more from Gino here in the clubhouse talking about how special it is to move into third place all time for Venezuelan-born players hitting home runs.
I mean, that means a lot, as a Venezuelan, being that list, it's a lot. It's too much for me, because so many good players, so many superstars coming from Venezuela, and putting my name on that list, and Paz, Maglio, one of my favorite players, and it's an honor. It's a gift. I always say I feel blessed because God, He gives me the opportunity to play this beautiful game, and all the success is because of Him. He's so good. I glorify Him right now because I feel happy for the opportunity that He given to me, that be able to hit the Grand Slam today. Not only for me, but for my team, for my teammates, for the fans, for Venezuela, and for all my family.
And to make my beard teal. That's also
exactly where I cut it off, actually.
Yeah, it's perfect.
Derek was like, I'd like to keep this Gino clip under a minute, and I didn't realize what it was, but right after that, he in fact did say, and he pointed too at the camera, and he said to make this guy's beard teal.
It's funny because you look at that clip and it looks like I'm really zoomed in, like on his face, but in fact, I was that close to him. I was uncomfortably close to him during that scrum. And it's the sacrifices that I make for you guys in order to bring you quality video that doesn't have terrible audio like the stuff we had last night. Not my fault, not Damon's fault. That one's on the TV in the clubhouse. That one is a E5 on the TV. But Pavin Smith also went on to add a home run of his own, a solo home run there in that big inning, that big 6th inning. That pushed the lead to 5-2, where it ends up at, and that's the final score. But this was Pavin's first home run since April 22nd against the Tampa Bay Rays. And quite frankly, Pavin Smith had about as bad of a month of May as the Diamondbacks as a team did. It was getting to a point that there was starting to be a lot of questions about, Pavin remaining in the lineup and continuing to contribute from a DH spot that the Diamondbacks are getting a sub 700 OPS from. And, again, even playing first base over there, there has been some talk about potentially bringing up ADC as a left-handed bat and maybe allowing him to see some time as a DH for this team. Not sure about him catching behind the plate, but again, that would require a roster move, and most likely if Pavin Smith isn't their primary DH and isn't contributing in those ways, wouldn't be here. But Elise is the one that's responsible for this home run. She called Pavin out last night. She wanted him gone from this team, and now he went out and hit his first home run since April 22nd. So that one's on Elise.
Trade value up.
Yeah. We'll see. I don't know. Maybe, but we'll see. But some other notable performances today. Ketel Marte was 2 for 4 with a run scored. Corbin Carroll was 1 for 4, also with a run scored. Josh Naylor, 2 for 3 today with a run and 1 walk. And again, what can you say about Josh Naylor besides the fact he's a known psychopath who also can give very confusing vibes after a win, after hitting a walk-off grand slam? And I kind of like that about him. It just shows that he might also have frog blood, maybe a different frog blood than what Perdomo has, but frog blood nonetheless. But Naylor he has a 302 batting average now after his 2 for 3 day with an 825 OPS. So again, another guy that's absolutely getting it done for this team right now offensively, and a big reason why the Diamondbacks have been winning these games lately. But the one who got the job done today, obviously, is the one and only Eugenio Suárez. He is our king snake in today's game. Gino went 3 for 4 with the grand slam and 4 RBI. And again, he tied Carroll for the team lead in home runs with 19 home runs. He is 5th in Major League Baseball behind one Cal Raleigh, who the Diamondbacks held in check in this series, Aaron Judge, Shohei Ohtani, and Kyle Schwarber. He finished the game again, increasing that OPS to 819, second among NL third basemen this season. And then again, the feat where he passed Maglia Ordonez for third all-time on the home runs list for Venezuelan-born players with 295. We have more from his starting pitcher. Erod discussed what Gino means to this team, to Venezuela, and to him personally.
I mean, he's a special, we are from the same country, and I know what that means for him. First of all, it means a lot for the homer, and he went out there and did a grand slam and put me in a position to win the game. And second, he's from my same country, and I know how he feels, I can see it on the past too with Miggy, and now I see it with him. That's great, and I'm grateful that I had the opportunity to play with guys that they're doing things like that, I'm so happy for him that he passed Magli, right? That's what he passed Magli on this one right here, so. He's just growing and growing. He's just getting better, and hopefully he keep going out there and keep hitting homers because that's what we want.
Well, I talked about it last night with Alec Thomas's big night, and again, I'll say it today with Gino having the big day that he had. The Diamondbacks kind of go in the direction that their offense goes and the contributions go, right? Like when you see Ketel Marte and Corbin Carroll being the only ones to contribute, you typically don't see this team winning. But if they can get a performance like this from one other player in the lineup, you feel like their chances are good. We talked about how much their offense is going to need to pick up the slack here this season. And of course, they have the offensive firepower to do so. This team is not dead yet. This team is not done yet. This team is not cooked. I know it feels like it. I know that there was a great time where we had such depth, so many pitchers specifically, that there was competitions within this team and decisions that were unable to be made simply based on the fact that guys were all performing well, right? Now there's a good chance we've lost Justin Martinez for the season. We know, in fact, we've lost Corbin Burns, right? So those questions, those disagreements we had about who belongs in the starting lineup and why isn't Ryan Nelson getting a chance, and I would go with Puck over Martinez, or I would go with Martinez over Puck. We can't have those arguments anymore because the Diamondbacks have had their roster depleted. But it doesn't mean that once an AJ Puck returns to this lineup and once the Diamondbacks have some pieces in place, that they still can't cobble together a very good team that can be competitive and potentially win 90 wins in this, very, very tough NL West division that they have in front of them. But we're going to talk more about the pitching in this game because Erod, once again, in his second outing since returning from the IL, was pretty damn good. And I know there's a lot of people that have kind of been rooting against him. I know how funny it is to call him L-Rod, but let's be honest, the Diamondbacks need Erod more than ever. And so far in his 2 outings since he's returned, he has stepped up and given them exactly what we needed out of him, what we've always wanted out of him. So we're going to talk about that on the other side of this break. Don't you go anywhere. You're watching the PHNX Diamondback Show. Of course, this is a celebratory environment. One great way to celebrate is with Frosties from Wendy's. And I absolutely love Frosties from Wendy's. I love them when they were simply just chocolate Frosties, just a cup of chocolate Frosty. But now with the Wendy's Frosty Shop, you can get all sorts of combinations and they are amazing. It's the same creamy treat you've always loved, but now with a fresh reflavor. What are you looking for? You got some new flavors with the strawberry swirls that include strawberry, brownie batter, and caramel. And then you also have their amazing blended Frosty Fusion Mix that include Oreo brownie, caramel crunch, and Pop-Tart strawberry. That's right, you heard me right. I didn't stutter. Pop-Tart strawberry. Go out and try all of these wonderful flavors right now. Chunks of crazy good Pop-Tart pieces in there, Oreo brownie with thick swirled brownie batter sauce, and crunchy Oreo cookie pieces. This is the perfect way to celebrate sweeping the Mariners. So go out today and get, it doesn't matter what flavor you're craving. Go out today and check out Wendy's. They have it covered with their Frosty Shop. Odds are, if you are craving a particular flavor, they've got a Frosty for it. Clock in for a sweet treat anytime, including midnight or later, with Wendy's all-new Frosty flavors. A refresh on a classic, gotta be Wendy's, at participating U.S. Wendy's locations. Hours may vary by location. And speaking of being hot, speaking of needing things to cool you down, you know you need to protect your eyes in this Arizona, during this Arizona summer, right? So go out and get yourself a quality pair of shades from our friends at Shady Rays. Not only do they not cost you an arm and a leg like other premium sunglass brands do, but Shady Rays make some durable frames that are absolutely outstanding. They have some great styles that will fit your face. They have crystal clear optics with their polarized lenses, and they even have some amazing upgrades like their Color Rush lenses as well. They also have the best, craziest broken replacement plan in all of eyewear. They tell us that if you lose or break your Shady Rays, even on day one, they have your back with their warranty plan. So of course, if you are a person like me who loses your sunglasses everywhere you go, trust that Shady Rays will have you covered, and their eyewear, again, always has your back. We've teamed up with Shady Rays to bring you an exclusive offer. Head on over to shadyrays.com and use code PHNX for 35% off polarized sunglasses. Try for yourself the shades rated 5 stars by over 300,000 people. Again, another solid start here from Eduardo Rodriguez for the Arizona Diamondbacks since returning from the IL. In fact, it was arguably one of his best starts as a member of this franchise. You could go back to last season where he had a couple of good performances, I believe, against the Rockies, and he had another one against, was it the Rays? I believe, Damon, you said that those didn't count.
You said Marlins and
Marlins, you're right.
And Rockies
yeah, it was
when
the
you
Marlins
talked about them
Rockies.
earlier,
That's
and
right.
I said those two teams do not count.
Yeah, they don't count. But still, a solid outing again today, and again, one of his best of this season. Maybe the other quality start that he had versus the Braves on April 11th, but he really leaned on his four-seam fastball today. He threw it 46% of his outing, almost 50% of the outing. But what he did here was a great job of establishing his fastball. He established his fastball in this outing early on. He got ahead in the counts, and then he changed speeds. He used his changeup. He used his sinker to change speeds. He used his cutter to give that fastball a different look. And again, his cutter was his second most thrown pitch at 21% of the outing, but he maxed out on that four-seam fastball at 92.7 miles per hour today, averaged at 91. So again, it wasn't for Erod today about the velocity of his fastball. It wasn't about, how hard he was throwing it, but he said that it was about how basically it was, his control in this one. And it's been his control with his four-seam fastball. We have more from Erod here on his outing. Here's what he had to say about how he felt today.
I feel like everything, I was able to look at my pitches. I feel like I don't have that much below on my fastball today, but location-wise, I was able to look at. I think I feel like the two pitches that I missed, like pretty bad, was the homer and the base hit by JR that I tried to go cut it in and I missed it on the middle of the play. But overall, I feel like all my pitches was working today, which is what I was looking for.
I think that, again, baseball is one of those sports where guys kind of have an injury, and it's kind of like are you hurt or are you injured? Is it a nagging pain, or is it something that's going to prevent you from being able to play the game properly, right? And a lot of injuries are more in the column A because they don't want to miss playing time. They don't want to have surgery that's going to cause them to miss a significant amount of time. So they almost downplay their injuries. They almost downplay how it's impacting them as a player. And today it was really interesting to see Erod kind of bring up this season and just how bad his shoulder has felt and how much that time off, his stint on the IL, helped him to feel being back to 100%. Here is Erod on talking about that feeling in his shoulder.
Just kind of tightness, just kind of tightness in area, and I feel like after all these couple days off and that rehab time, I feel like I'm 100% now. So I mean, you guys didn't see the last two games. I'm available to look at my pitches and compete out there,
And I honestly think that injury was causing more problems than we might know. Today, again, one of his best outings wearing a Diamondbacks uniform. He got 14 whiffs, 7 on that fastball that he threw. He ends up going 6 1/3 innings pitched. He gave up 2 earned runs. He gave up that 1 home run, 5 strikeouts in this one, and 1 walk. So again, shout out to Circle K and our strikeout meter. Let's warm that guy up for 5 strikeouts for today for Erod. And again, he has 5 quality starts in his last 7 versus the Mariners. For some reason, Erod has the Seattle Mariners numbers. But
maybe he's just an American League pitcher. You ever thought about that?
Maybe he's just a good old red-blooded American League pitcher, and that's where he belongs. I don't know.
Red-blooded.
You might not be wrong about that. He's a Patriot. But again, we asked him about his biggest change since that injury. Like, what was there something he was doing different? Is there something, that he changed? Really is just about him feeling better. Here's what he had to say.
I will say location. I'm available to throw the ball most of the time. I'm available to throw the ball where I want it, and that's the main reason that I can go out there and do my job. That's what been my main reason these past 2 starts that I was in the past, that I was missing a lot. Right now I just missing a couple of pitches, which is good. I pay for it, but we're still winning the game. So.
In his 2 starts since returning from the injured list, Erod has a 3.18 ERA, 8 strikeouts and 1 walk in 11 1/3 innings pitched. Versus Cincinnati, he went 5 innings, allowing 2 earned runs today. He goes 6 1/3, allowing 2 earned runs. And honestly, he could have gone longer. Torey just wouldn't. I don't think Torey wanted him to have another lengthy outing, and he'd already thrown 80 pitches. But it did feel like, again, once Erod's kind of back in the swing of things, that that if he can be this effective and this efficient with his pitch count, then he can be a big help to this team. And again, I implore everybody to change your Erod stance if you are an Erod hater. I understand how frustrating it's been. And to be fair, his performance up to this point has not lived up to his contract or what the Diamondbacks or fans thought that they were getting. None of that matters now. None of that matters now. We are 500 right now. This is day 1. We said that before when they got to 500, but this is really day 1. And of course, the schedule is not easy immediately. They take on the Padres this weekend. However, after that, the schedule gets much easier for the month of June, and the Diamondbacks have to win games over that stretch. There's no question about it, because if they do not, and July 1st rolls around and this team found themselves losing series to teams like the White Sox and the Rockies and the Marlins, then it might as well be a wrap. I'll be the first one to start helping some of those players that the Diamondbacks are going to trade away at the deadline pack their lockers up, because that's what it feels like. That's how dire the situation is. I feel like right now for the Diamondbacks, the key, honestly, is guys like Ryan Nelson and Erod. If those guys, you know what you can get out of Zach Gallen, Merrill Kelly, and Brandon Pfaadt. We've already seen it. Even if they have struggles, even if they have bad stretches, those guys are going to get things back on track. What can these other 2 guys give them, and can they help them win baseball games between now and July 31st? And honestly, I really think they can. I really think that the Diamondbacks can be the team, again, a galvanized team, a connected team once again. But here we have Torey speaking about Erod's day today, and of course, just how needed this this kind of performance was for the Diamondbacks.
Yeah, I think he's probably feeling as good as he has in a while. The time down was clearly needed. He was grinding up to that point. So his pitchability level is always extremely high. Like he's able to execution level, I should say, is always extremely high. He hits lines and follows game plans and changes speeds front to back, and he's a perfectionist. He knows how to execute. When he's feeling right, he can do it, and that's what it looks like. So yeah, we know what he's capable of doing. I've seen him for a long time. I've known him since he's been 19, 20 years old. I've seen this type of game pitched for fairly consistently, and when he's right, this is what it looks like.
Yeah, well, I'll tell you, the Erod looks right. It looks like he's feeling healthy, and again, he's kind of could be the savior of this starting rotation right now. He commented, we have a little bit more from Erod. Talked about his confidence growing with his command, especially of his fastball.
Yeah, like I say, I've been having a tough year, but the last 2 starts have been great. I mean, the past I strike out a lot of guys, but I was just going like 4 or 5 innings. Now I can go out there for 6 or 7 innings like I do today. It's great, and I love that's what I want to do every time.
And we also have Erod discussing his longer outings, right? Because that's been what the Diamondbacks are going to need out of starting pitching. And Erod, again, today gave him 6 1/3, and still his pitch count only hit 80. So here's what he had to say about these longer outings being important.
It feels good, as a starter, you always want to go at least 6 or 7 innings, So I went out there for the 7, and like I like to compete a lot. And every time Torey's coming to get me out, I always put it in the face to him, like, hey man, don't take me out. But that's part of the game, like when you're competing like that, you don't want to get out of that amount. He understands it, and he understands the way I am, and I love it the way that he go out there and tell me, hey, you do your job. It's time you to go out, and I think but go out there and get out for the 7 was great to me.
there's a lot of like catchphrases and cliches being thrown around by the Diamondbacks this year. Torey Lovullo, you could say, motivational phrases, win the inch. You've seen all in on Torey's shirt, but I feel like the one thing I take away lately and the one mantra that the Diamondbacks are hopefully holding on to has been Torey saying, do your job. And they did their job today. The bullpen specifically did their job today. Juan Murillo went out there, gave him 2/3 of an innings pitched. He only allowed one walk. Jalen Beeks gave up a hit, but no runs in 1 inning of work. And then Shelby Miller closed it down again with 1 inning of work, 1 hit allowed and 2 strikeouts. And the Diamondbacks bullpens, the relievers have now just allowed 1 run in their last 6 2/3 innings pitched. That was yesterday by Bryce Jarvis, and that was still in 3 innings pitched by Jarvis. So not a terrible outing by any stretch of the imagination from him to allow just that 1 earned run. But these are the guys that need to get it done. The Diamondbacks are formulating a group of guys that Lovullo can trust. When AJ Puck returns, hopefully he can be what we remember him to be. Hopefully he can be what he was last year, and he can kind of take over that closer role, and that would allow everybody kind of just slot in. You know, Shelby Miller would obviously be the setup man there for AJ. You have Beeks as a left-handed arm there. You got Jarvis with long relief. Or, you know, again, a couple of other options as well. So, again, the Diamondbacks just really have to get a couple of guys healthy right now, guys that are going to return. And once that happens, it does feel like this bullpen will still be, could be, I should say, a fairly effective bullpen. A lot of you are commenting that the Blue Jays are one of the best team in the last month. Did I say maybe I lumped the Blue Jays in there just because it's a team the Diamondbacks are playing, but I didn't mean that was a team that was on the easier side. It was more of the teams I was referencing when I said the Rockies, the White Sox, you know, those teams, Marlins. All right. Those are the teams that the Diamondbacks will be a litmus test for this team. And we're going to talk about that later, but I want to talk more about this game because, again, the pitching very solid for this team. We talked about how important the offense is going to be, but performances like this from this pitching staff is how the Diamondbacks are going to win games. I mean, quite frankly, right? Like, they can't expect their offense to go out and put up the number of runs that they did in this series. The Diamondbacks put up 23 runs in this 3-game series against the Mariners. They're not going to get that every single time, but the way that the pitching staff performed in this series, the Diamondbacks can definitely win a lot of games that way. A big part of this was keeping one of the best players in baseball right now at bay. They kept Cal Raleigh fairly silent in this series. I think someone said it up there. It was like 2 for 12 or 3 for 12 in this series, but the big dumper was not a problem for the Diamondbacks. And of course, Torey Lovullo talked about a little bit about what their game plan was to kind of limit his damage in this series.
Great player, great athlete, and we just knew where he was in the lineup. We were avoiding the hot spots, and it's no mystery. You can't crowd him. Ball close to him, he's going to smash it. So you got to keep the ball away from him. You got to keep it down. You got to change eye levels. So our guys did a really good job, and I think we were really focused on a certain portion of their lineup that we had to really get after, and we did a good job there. But it's the other things. How many? Do we have 1 or 2 walks today? I can't remember what it was. I think Erod had one and Murillo had one, if I can remember correctly. We were controlling the zone. We were making pitches today, and I think we did that for the most part throughout the course of this series.
Grudy points out the big dumper is caked up. He absolutely is caked up. There was a photo being taken. Apparently, his cake made it into the picture before he did. You know, like the old phrase says, ass so fat that you can see it from the front. But anyway, the Diamondbacks, again, did a great job against their best player. And like Torey said, they do have a portion of their lineup that is dangerous. And then not to knock the Mariners, but there's quite a bit of drop-off for the second half of their starting lineup. So realistically, the Diamondbacks just kind of needed to keep, you know, Julio, Cal Raleigh, Randy Arozarena in check. And then outside of that, the rest of the lineup kind of drops off there significantly. But dangerous hitters at the top. And again, the Mariners, they did have a winning record coming into this series with the Diamondbacks, but now they do not. They sit at 33-34. Diamondbacks, meanwhile, sit at 34-34. And again, we're at 500. Damon, I don't care. Let's send Perdomo up the mountain again, just because it'll never not amuse me. That'll never get old. especially if the Diamondbacks are 500 or better. But we're going to talk about this series and the numbers from this series on the other side of this break. Also, the NL West, of course, the Dodgers. I think, did the Dodgers hold on to beat the Padres? We were watching in the clubhouse.
They did.
And yeah, it felt very much like that was going to happen. So we'll talk about that and what we actually want, because we don't even know anymore on the other side of this break. Don't you go anywhere. You're watching the PHNX Diamondback Show. I'm sure most of you know how much you pay for your energy bill during the summer. And as you know, more than half of your bill comes from heating and cooling your home. So a great way to lower those costs is to check out APS and their marketplace. They do have smart thermostats available. If you don't have a smart thermostat in your home, now is a great time to upgrade. Not only can you do amazing scheduling with your smart thermostat, plus again, just a better way to control your environment in your home. You can use an app to change your settings from while you're away. Of course, you leave your air conditioning on while you left and no one's home. It's easily to change that, turn it right back up. That way you're not cooling an empty house. If you're heading home, do like I do. Right before I leave the office, I make sure I crank that AC down so it's nice and cool when I get home. And of course, these are all the things you can do with a smart thermostat. APS customers may be eligible for smart thermostats as low as $0 when you enroll in the APS Cool Rewards program. If you're not sure how to install a smart thermostat, free install is available also at the APS marketplace. If you already have a smart thermostat at home, you can see if it's eligible to enroll in Cool Rewards. Find instant rebates, discounts, and special offers on smart thermostats, energy efficient appliances, and more at marketplace.aps.com. Must be an APS customer and pay shipping and taxes. Other restrictions do apply. Go to marketplace.aps.com for more information. And of course, whatever the moment, it's never ordinary at Bet365. Bet365 pioneered live in-game betting, and they offer the widest range of games and markets available for live in-game betting across 78 sports. Of course, I'm very much bullish on Erod starts, and even though maybe certain sites like Bet365 might not believe in Erod as much as I do, it's a great time to maybe take advantage of some of those values on betting on Erod to maybe hit the go for how many outs he records. That's a great one. Runs allowed, that's another one. So again, check this out over on the Bet365 app. Of course, with the early payout offer right now, you're a winner if your team goes up on a Major League Baseball game by 5 runs or more. So of course, that would be a straight bet, would be marked as a winner, as well as parlay selections. So get down on the action. Of course, if you are a new customer, you can sign up right now using our code of PHNX365. New customers get $150 in bonus bets. When you do, all you got to do is bet $5, win or lose. Sign up, use that code of PHNX365, deposit $10 and place a bet for $5 or more to get $150 in bonus bets if your bet wins or loses. Bonus bets can be used on the spread, totals, players, props, futures, and more. Whatever the moment, it is never ordinary. At Bet365, must be 21 or over and physically located in Arizona. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem and wants help, call 1-800-NEXT-STEP, text NEXT STEP to 53342, or visit problemgambling.az.gov. All right, Damon. Well, this one's going to be fun because the Diamondbacks kind of thumped the Mariners in this 3-game sweep. So let's take a look at the numbers presented by Desert Financial. Of course, the Diamondbacks outscore the Mariners in this series 23-9. They hit 7 home runs to the Mariners' 4 home runs. This one is a specifically impressive stat for a team that has not been good in this area. The Diamondbacks were 8 for 26 with runners in scoring position for a .308 batting average. Meanwhile, the Mariners 5 for 41 for just a .123 batting average with runners in scoring position. Also, the Diamondbacks wrecked their starting pitching and relief pitching ERA. Diamondbacks had a 2.08 starting pitching ERA in this one. Absolutely outstanding. And again, Diamondbacks only allowed 4 earned runs in this series from their starting pitchers. They get 5 innings in Game 2 from Brandon Pfaadt, 6 1/3 today from Eduardo Rodriguez, and 6 scoreless from Merrill Kelly in Game 1 of the series. So 2.08 ERA for the Diamondbacks for their starters, 6.19 Booyaka for the Seattle Mariners and their starting pitching. Shout out to Dominic Mysterio for throwing out the first pitch at the Padres game yesterday. Relief pitching ERA, the Mariners had a 9.58 relief pitching ERA to the Diamondbacks 3.86. Another impressive outing here from the bullpen. 4 earned runs allowed by the Diamondbacks in Game 1 of this series. I'm sure you remember that. That gentleman is no longer on the team right now. Meanwhile, since then, the Diamondbacks only allowed 1 earned run over the last two starts. So or 2 outings from the bullpen. So great series win here. And again, when you look at those numbers, when you look at a 2.08 starting pitching ERA and a 3.86 relief pitching ERA, that's how the Diamondbacks won this series. I understand 23 runs is a lot, but they outscored the Mariners 23-9 in this 3-game series. They could have still swept them, scoring 16 runs, right? It's just about the fact that the pitching was solid for this team, and it was solid against, a fairly good offensive team when it came to the Seattle Mariners. They're no slouch, and they have the home run leader on their team, which the Diamondbacks once again were able to keep fairly quiet in this game. But let's take a look how this win impacts the overall drunken orgy of violence that we call the NL West. The Arizona Diamondbacks now currently sit 6 games back from the Dodgers. Is this prior to the results of the Dodgers-Padres game?
I updated it after those results, but what I didn't update was the Giants games back. So the Giants are actually a full game back here.
Okay.
The rest of it is fully updated.
Okay, so the Padres are 2 games back. Diamondbacks are 6 games back. Meanwhile, the Giants sit at 1 game back, and the Dodgers are at 41 and 28. Yeah, that makes sense, right? Yeah. So again, and then the Colorado Rockies, infinite back. Can we throw that back up there again? I just need to look at one thing really fast. The Colorado Rockies lost yesterday's game in spectacular fashion. Damon, could you throw the NL West back up?
Let me fix it real quick.
I'll
grab
yeah,
it for us.
He takes pride in that. But again, the Rockies are such a bad team that it's starting to break our guy Spencer Smith that works for DNVR. Spencer is one of the nicest human beings that I've ever met in this company, and yet I'm starting to see the sadness in his tweets. I'm starting to see the despair take on, and I think that the Rockies have finally broken him. He tweeted out a thing yesterday. I think it was a Pornhub like clip about it was. I don't
I'm sorry.
It was basically about the ownership screwing over the fan base, if you will. But again, I really feel like the Rockies have finally broken our DNVR crew. Let's take a look once again. 12-54. 54. There are teams that aren't going to lose many more than 54 games this season, right? Like they're going to lose 65 games this season. There are teams that are going to lose 70 games this season. The Rockies are almost there, and it's not even the All-Star break yet. that's I don't mean to laugh. It's just sad. It's very sad. And again, also the Diamondbacks are continuing to do what I asked them to do and stay a part of that group. That's all we need. Just lie in the weeds, just kind of hang out there, maybe 3 games above 500, maybe 4 games. I don't know. Let's get crazy, but just try to stay a part of that pack. And then, of course, when the Diamondbacks have a chance to play teams like they have a chance at the end of June, they take on the Giants at the end of the month. They take on the Padres here coming up next. Those are probably some of the most important season or series remaining in their season. Again, nothing matters for me right now beyond July 31st. Not a single series, not a single game. Nothing. Because come July 31st, this team might not even be trying anymore. This team might absolutely have a fire sale and get rid of some of their best components, and it might be over come July 31st. They know it. Zach Gallen made comments about it. I've heard other players make comments about it. It's common knowledge for this team that they have to perform right now, or else this team won't be this team come August 1st, right? So again, I know it's kind of doom and gloom, but that's why this is so important to make Mike Hazen, who absolutely does not want to turn this team into a seller. He absolutely believes in this team and thinks that no matter what, they can turn it around. However, if the results aren't there come, the middle of July, he's got to start taking those phone calls and he's got to start listening to those deals. And yeah, that's it. That's all I got on that. Geek Martinez is asking if I am frozen for you guys. I hope I'm not frozen. Maybe it's the Wendy's Frosties and the Wendy's Frosty takes.
It's all those cold takes, yeah.
Yeah, Grudy, he wanted to know about my pretzel experience. He said, I want to hear about your pretzels. I believe it was him. If you want to know what he's talking about, it's because at Monday Night Raw, I ate an entire bag of Wetzel pretzel cinnamon pretzel bites.
So good.
It's not meant to be consumed by one person. Maybe some people do. Maybe it's a preference thing. I did, and I got like the same kind of tummy ache that an 8-year-old gets. And I know this because I don't usually do this to myself where I eat an entire bag of Wetzel's pretzels. But since then, since Monday, I've passed by the Wetzel pretzel stand at least 6 times, and I felt myself get nauseated every single time I walked past it.
That's sad.
Yeah, it might be worse for me than Waffle House.
You don't want that ruined for you. It's one of those things that, like, if there's a Wetzel's pretzels little bite-sized pieces in front of you, you're never gonna be too full to have the next one.
Never.
You always have enough room for the next Wetzel's pretzel.
Right. But when you're the only one eating them and you're consuming an entire bag, then that's a bit problematic. Just a little.
Did you have like a nice like icing to dip it in or something?
No, I was raw dogging them.
Wow.
Yeah, I was raw dogging them.
See, the icing, I think, is a key component of that. You need to switch it up a little bit.
Yeah, because sometimes you go icing and then you got too much sweet, and then you can go another one without icing, and then it balances it out.
Absolutely.
Right? Yeah, no, I didn't do that. I hit up the quesadilla stand, and then I hit up Wetzel's pretzels. So I had a tummy ache. Also, huge failure on my part not getting Spinatos. I'm just going to say that. But again, I'm probably giving out way too many free ads now on this show, so I'm going to move on.
Keep it for Friday, brother.
I mean, I'll hold it up for free ad Friday. But you guys wait for me because we're going to take a quick break. But on the other side of this break, we're going to talk about Shane cursing his team. We're going to make sure that none of you bring him a present at our pool takeover, and we're also going to talk a little more about this upcoming schedule for the Arizona Diamondbacks to close out the month of June. Don't you go anywhere. You're watching the PHNX Diamondback Show. Of course, speaking of Circle K, speaking of wonderful snack options, that is where you need to stop to get yourself some pretzel bites, some stuff off the roller, and maybe just maybe some amazing drinks. It doesn't matter if it's a Polar Pop, a Froster, or something out of their cooler. It's America's Thirst Stop, and it's named that aptly for a reason, because it's where you go to quench your thirst. Of course, right now, if you join the Inner Circle for free, you will quench your thirst for free. You'll get your first 5 Polar Pops for absolutely free. You'll save all sorts of money after that, including having 79-cent Polar Pops, 99-cent Frosters, 3 for $7 for Ghosts. We are Ghost Runners / Ghost People. Don't forget that. And of course, all sorts of other wonderful deals there, specifically in the app, just for Inner Circle members. Of course, you'll save 25 cents off per gallon on your first 5 fill-ups. You'll only save 3 cents per gallon every day after that. Plenty of other member exclusive deals and discounts in the app. All you got to do is join for absolutely free. Join the Inner Circle for free by downloading the Circle K app today. Terms and conditions do apply. At participating locations, visit circlek.com for details. And I'll tell you, big shout out to our friends at Pure Edibles. They were there during the rough times this season. They were there to pick us up. They were there to make sure that we elevated our mood after some of these losses. And of course, that doesn't just stop with baseball games. Pure Edibles has you covered all the time. And of course, you know exactly what you're getting with Pure Edibles because their effects are clearly listed on each tin. The dosage is clearly listed on each tin. So no surprises for you. If you're looking to get yourself a sleep edition gummy, they got you covered. If you're looking for an uplifting chew or hard candy, they also have that. They are a full-fledged candy company that makes all sorts of different candies, and their gummies aren't covered in sugar like all of the other edible companies out there. But what they do offer you is a quality product, of course, that you can rip and tear in half to share or to dial in your exact dosage, and also a great company from right here in Arizona. They were created in Flagstaff, Arizona at Noble Herb Dispensary, the home of Pure Edibles, and they are now made right here in Phoenix, Arizona. So go find yourself some Pure Edibles products from one of over 130 dispensaries across the state of Arizona. And I would like to take a moment to thank one Shane Diefenbach for attending the Seattle Mariners games and for cursing the team that he loves. Shane's presence seemed to be problematic, and anytime Shane did anything like today where he left his seat to go get some amazing food from the Diamondbacks Chase Field concourse, that is when the Diamondbacks put up that crooked number in the 6th inning. It's because and I used this metaphor earlier, much like a parent watching the kids in the pool, Shane went and took a phone call and didn't pay attention there for a little while, right? So now what happens is the Mariners get swept. It's also his friend's fault that the Diamondbacks won Game 2. Apparently, there was a series of rally hot dogs that were purchased. 2 of those rally hot dogs were eaten during the 6th inning when Brandon Pfaadt gave up solo home runs to Rowdy Tellez and was it Randy Rosarina? But then apparently he had a third hot dog, which he was supposed to save for the next time the Diamondbacks came up to bat. Instead, he got hungry. Shane warned him not to do it. He disobeyed Shane's orders, and he ate the hot dog while the Diamondbacks were up to bat, and Gabby hit the 3-run home run. So if you are looking for the specific person to blame this series on or thank for this series win, you can thank Shane Diefenbach. I mean, you can thank Ketel Marte and Eugenio Suárez and Eduardo Rodriguez. There's a lot of guys you could thank, but the only one who it will hurt to thank is Shane. So make sure to stop by and thank Shane. Send him a tweet on Twitter. Most importantly, whatever you do not bring Shane a birthday present or a card or a single Mylar balloon to our Chase Field Takeover pool party, which is happening on July 3rd, which happens to be Shane's birthday, and he's trying to hijack it and make it into his party. And Damon and I will die before we allow that to happen. Damon and I will you talk about defending the pool, we will defend the pool from Shane at all costs. But that happens.
It means everything.
It means everything to us. That happens on July 3rd at 5:30 p.m. To 10 p.m. We're taking over the pool against the Giants, so make sure to join us for that. Not a lot of tickets left, so make sure to get yours because tickets are very limited. And trust me, we are not allowed to expand the number of people in the pool according to the fire marshal. So we got the right field pool reserved on July 3rd. We got a great time. Food is included. Drinks are included. Get that towel to take home with you, so don't miss out. Make sure to join us for that. It's going to be a great time. In fact, I said it before, it was my favorite event I think that we've ever done, mostly because I never, ever thought I would even get a chance to swim in that pool. I mostly thought I would always just be able to visit it when someone was celebrating in it. But now I get to celebrate in it on July 3rd. So hopefully what we will be celebrating is a big win over the Giants there.
Annual tradition at this point.
Yes. Ryan H. has asked this a couple of times about if my tostones are going to make it. For those of you that don't know what a tostone is, it is a fried plantain. It is delightful. It is God's little treat to all of us. And most people make them incorrectly. So mine tostones are absolute perfection. I would put them up in a contest against any other living person's tostones, and I know that they're the best, so there's no doubt about it. But yeah, no, I will not be doing that because they're a lot of work and there involves a lot of frying, and I don't think that they're going to allow me to bring any kind of fryer to the pool area. But I will be bringing my bathing suit. Maybe Jesse Jr. will make an appearance. I'm going to bring my big glove, definitely. Got to bring the giant glove again for sure. But we are definitely going to have a great time out there. So make sure to join us for that. And again, I talked about that San Francisco Giants series, right? That is one of the tough teams that they have here in the month of June left. They do have some easier teams, but those teams cannot be overlooked. And the teams that they do have that are tough, you guys brought up the Toronto Blue Jays, who have been playing some excellent baseball as of lately. Obviously, the San Diego Padres here that the Diamondbacks take in this 3-game series coming up this weekend is huge. And then you also have that Giant series, which we will be in attendance for. But kind of peppered in there, the Diamondbacks have games against the Rockies. They have games against the Marlins. They have a series against the White Sox. And these are all series that are going to determine the Diamondbacks season, right? Not to take anything away from the bigger series, not to take anything away from the Padres and the Giants. But if the Diamondbacks don't win those particular series, I don't know if it's going to be as detrimental to the opinion about the competitiveness of this team as if they lose against teams like the White Sox, Marlins, and Rockies, especially the Rockies, considering the state that team is currently in. The White Sox have kind of gotten their act together, so they're a little bit tougher of a team, but still a team that the Diamondbacks should win games against, should win a series against. And then the Marlins, obviously, who have not been playing great baseball. Jay Cuddy is right in the chat. He says no team is easy at this point, and that's exactly you're right. These are all Major League Baseball teams, and none of them can be overlooked. I think the problem is that what you're talking about is the management of this team, Mike Hazen, the front office, evaluating this team on a game-by-game basis and trying to make difficult decisions about the future of this team for 2025, right? And again, when you're a GM like this, you unfortunately have to balance the current season with the future, and you have to do that at all times, right? So if there comes a point where you really do believe that this team is no longer going to be a team that can make the postseason or even compete once they do, like, yay, making the postseason, but if they're going to get rolled over in the first round of the wild card, round, then what's even the point then of investing in this team, or, trying your best to keep all of the pieces here when you have an amazing opportunity potentially to have a big windfall and trade for a big return for some of these guys, right? And again, the names that are being thrown around are not names people want to hear thrown around. Eugenio Suárez, who just hit the grand slam today, has been a guy, teams are drooling over. You got Merrill Kelly, who's been playing some excellent baseball. In fact, Merrill Kelly could potentially earn his first All-Star bid of his career. There was an article, I believe, over on MLB.com where they were discussing which player on each team could potentially get their first All-Star bid this year. And this year's team, a little bit more difficult, considering that Perdomo, Corbin Carroll, Ketel Marte, the obvious candidates, they've already had an All-Star game. But they brought up Gabby Moreno. They also brought up Merrill Kelly as potential guys that could see their first All-Star game this season. Now, I don't know if Merrill Kelly is pitching well enough to earn that honor over the course of the season, but Merrill Kelly has been pitching very well lately and definitely deserves at least a look at there on the All-Star ballot. But I don't know, man. Are the Diamondbacks, are you buying or are you selling? I would love to hear from you guys in the chat. If you're watching this show after the fact, make sure you drop your comments here, because I would love to know what people think in regards to if this team is a team that you are still buying, can be competitive and can still go on in a postseason run to compete. I think that the reason why I will always believe and will continue to believe is the fact that honestly, this team had no business making it as far as they did in 2023, right? That particular squad, which is a different team, still seems like it isn't as good of a team as this year's team is, right? Even with the losses that they have, this year's team still seems like a better, more competitive team that could potentially go on and have a better run in the playoffs than the 2023 team did, at least on paper, at least when you were looking at these two teams going into potentially the postseason, right? So I don't know, but Elise says we're selling Pavin. Who's we, Elise? Who is we? It's not the rest of us in this chat, let me tell you. The Journey says, give it a week. We'll know if
Who's
we're buyers.
we, Derek?
Who is we?
Hi, welcome. Nice to know you. My name's Damon. You ever met me? There's multiple of us.
Yeah, when he hit that home run today,
us.
I knew today when he hit that home run, I was like, this does not help Damon's anti-Pavin agenda.
My friend texted me. My friend here, I actually have that perfect for you, Derek. My buddy texted me. He said, Pavin Smith is back. Eat it, Damon. That was with a pointing emoji. And I said, one hit for Pavin Smith, and look at you.
Yeah.
Didn't realize we were handing out participation trophies.
There it is.
I
like you love the participation trophy.
I mean, it's a solo shot in a 3-run game. Like, what are we talking about?
I know. Yeah. I don't know. Well, what we're talking about is the fact that, honestly, Damon, the Dbacks are undefeated on days we do post-game shows after their game. And
this is true.
A lot of people are talking. A lot of people are saying that we basically can't have days off anymore. And I don't know. But what I will say is, at the very least, there's 5 days during the work week that we work, and then there's 2 other days, right? If we can continue to go 5-2 over those stretches, then how could we not make the postseason? I don't know.
That will be enough.
Really,
although the Diamondbacks were kind of playing at a similar pace to that to end the season last year, while the rest of the teams that they were competing with just
were also
went
doing
undefeated.
the same thing. Yeah.
No, they went. I would say the Padres were like, we're actually just not going to lose a game in the month of the month of August. Is that cool with everybody?
Wasn't cool with us. Also, remember when the Braves and the Mets played each other? Gross. Anyway, we're going to get out of here. But you guys say, damn right now. No days off, Derek, is what Sean says. No, I want a day off. Elise says, one homer doesn't change how bad he has been. I believe the phrase being thrown around was Pavin paid some past due rent today by hitting that home run. So we'll see what happens.
Just real quick, from a deadline standpoint with Pavin, you just can't have him be the DH long term. Like, no. I'm fine with him being on the team. He can be a pinch hitter,
utility guy.
He can't be the DH. Night in and night out.
Yeah, you're not wrong. But we're gonna get out of here. We appreciate every single one of you for joining us. Thank you guys for your comments. Thank you for the chats. Do we have any super chats? Did I miss any super chats?
No.
Okay.
We did have Max Simpson calling Max you out, saying, call Derek a Wendy's Frosty because he's full of cold takes.
Max is just a bad guy. And an unfunny guy at that. And if he takes my mug again and uses it, I'm going to have a problem. But I probably shouldn't be announcing that on this show, because then when I attack him, it's going to be premeditated. Thank you guys so much for joining us today. We will be back tomorrow. See, there he is. He's the dead man. He's a dead man after the show. But we'll be back tomorrow again with a 12 p.m. show. We're going to talk about some updates from the Snake Farm. We're going to talk about this upcoming series with the Padres and how important it is. So please join us for lunch tomorrow. Until then, have yourselves a wonderful evening. Make sure you follow us on Twitter. I'm at Cap_caveman with a K. Damon is at Damon Dog with a DAWG at the end. We are all Damon's dogs. Bark, bark. Of course, our show is at PHNX_Dbacks, but all roads lead to at PHNX_sports on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. Thank you again for your time. Love you guys. We'll be back tomorrow. Until then, have a wonderful evening. And remember, kids, baseball is fun, but it is so much more fun when Gino hits a grand slam.
We all silly like the mayor.